And now, coming to you, the boys on the hill, Slim Marshall, 5,000 watts, Thomas Black, and your boy, Ralph Jeezy.
Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah.
What up,
What's up, fella?
everybody?
What's up, fellas?
What's
What up,
up?
What's
Slim?
going on?
We had a busy weekend of baseball last week. Andre Dawson Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the games were on national television. Got to see our boys play Southern on MLB Network.
That was special.
Um, yeah, it was real special, man. Got to see the Hawk out there pre-game, post-game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was a really good time, man. Even though the ball club, didn't come out there on the right side of the win column too often, it was a pretty good showing all the way around for Black college baseball. Um, you had elite talent at that level being on display, pitching wise, hitting wise, real good coaching as well. A lot of strategy we saw over the weekend. So I want to ask you boys going around the room right quick. What were your impressions about this past weekend and all the baseball that we were able to see?
Mm-hmm.
Offense.
Yeah.
Offense. The
Offensive
bats were
explosion.
the bats were out,
Mm-hmm.
man. The
Mm-hmm.
bats were out. Um, Gremlin scored 10 runs. They beat us 10-1. The bats were out. Um, what I think we scored 11 runs against Prairie View.
Yeah.
Of course, the dramatic walk off against Southern and Alabama State. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, the offense fam made a good impression. So
Yeah, they did. They
Yeah,
did.
like
Grambling
five of
surprised
the
me.
yeah, like 5 of the 12 games, at least one team scored in double digits.
Mm-hmm. I think somebody got run ruled though. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
man,
here
it
we
was
So
go.
yeah.
it
So
was yeah.
them bats were hot. It
Now
was
the
exciting though to watch our collegiate teams be on national TV. It was real
now
dope.
the one game that I think was the best game out the whole weekend was the Alabama State Southern game. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if y'all was watching that, but it came all the way down to the last inning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was going back and forth. One came up was ahead, then the other one came back. Alabama State legit.
Mm-hmm.
Them boys legit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, they're definitely going to be in the competition along with United State for the top spot in the East and a spot to get in the tournament and try to make some noise come June. But we're going to talk a little bit about later on in the show how that game ended
mhm.
and how that
Yeah,
game ended and how it ruffled some feathers on
that
Alabama
was a
State
special
side.
moment, man. That was big, man. That was big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 That was
It brought a
big.
lot of attention. It brought a lot of attention to SWAC baseball, HBCU baseball as a whole, because I saw a lot of conversation on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter. We'll get to that later in the show.
Right.
Yeah,
We ain't gonna jump ahead.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but
It was
Underdog
exciting
Classic
though.
was yeah, but the Classic was something that like we always looking forward to. We previewed it on last week's show, and we kind of anticipated there was going to be some good baseball play. We thought the pitching would be a little bit ahead of the hitting. It wasn't for this first weekend, but I think as the season goes on, it's going to start to balance out a little bit in terms of pitching finding their groove. Um, all these games are kind of not played in kind of like environments conducive to like making pitchers comfortable. You're playing on neutral sites a lot of times. You're playing on the road. You're not in your own environment. So as the weeks go on, you're going to see the pitching get better as more continuity grows among these staffs.
Yeah,
As you see,
I didn't like how UNO kind of just bullet the teams they played, man.
Yeah, they did.
Mm.
yeah, they were the only
Well,
non-HBCU in the tournament. So
Right, but
it is in their backyard. You know.
but
Mm-hmm.
it's good competition to start the year out. To see where you are coming out the gate, which is always good to know how to adjust.
okay, so
Right.
what team impressed you the most, and what team kind of surprised you in terms of kind of how they did not play up to expectation?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna be honest. I wasn't expecting a 10-1 Gremlin win
I
on
wasn't
Friday
either.
night. I
Yeah.
especially to be two hit. I was
Mm-hmm.
not expecting that at all.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, the young man, I want to say his name is Shamar Page. He had 9 strikeouts, 5 walks, and thinking 7 and 2/3, something like that. And he ended up
Man,
being named the pitcher of the week
Mm-hmm.
right.
by the SWAC. So big ups to him on a opening night performance. We had a freshman on the mound, but there's no excuse. Um, just they were just a better team that night. You just tip your cap to them.
Yeah,
Sometimes you
I
can't
agree.
help it though, man. If a team's on, they're on. Regard, especially if a pitcher is on. If a pitcher is on hitting the spots, it's kind of hard to, well, also factor in umpiring. But that's a whole nother season of Boys on the Hill that we can talk about. But we're gonna keep it moving. But when you
Yeah.
factor in that, the best thing is to have a pitcher on. Me personally, as a coach, I'd rather have my pitcher on than the bats on. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather stop a team from scoring because I know my team is. I trust my team bats, but my pitcher on, I'm good. So
Mm-hmm.
it could have just been, opening night.
Probably just open night jitters, but it is what it is. I say probably Gremlin and Southern, probably kind of them two Louisiana teams kind of put their foot on everybody's neck outside of New Orleans, but I think it's gonna be exciting to see how this year will progress. With that foundation already laid out on who's gonna be dominant in the SWAC right now. I think Justice State gonna recover. I think Arkansas Pine Bluff is gonna recover. I think for one, Arkansas Pine Bluffs will probably they got the deepest schedule. I think they're playing close to probably like 40 some games. So they will get opportunities to develop through the season and try to get their lineup and they pitching roster together. So we may. It, like we stated last week, it may just be a repeat of what we saw this weekend in the tournament for the SWAT T. But Alabama State and FAMU, they showed their face. They actually look like the two potential teams outside of Bethune Cookman because they're playing this tough schedule, but at the same time, uh, they look pretty good against Youngstown this weekend as well. So the East is gonna be deep. I hope Mississippi Valley ready because the East gonna be deep as far as baseball. You know. Yeah, but
I
it was some outstanding games this weekend.
I just want all teams like to stay healthy and everything, so everybody can progress throughout the year. I just
Mm-hmm.
want the whole conference as a whole to be able to rise up. Because some teams kind of take the swag for granted, but then sometimes they get their butts whooped too. So
Yeah.
outside of the swag, so
Mm-hmm.
I want everybody to rise up as a conference, and
Yeah.
I'm just glad to see some good ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree because shoot, outside the conference, that just reflects on RPIs. How strong our schedules are. If we can get some of them wins and them series out on the outside of the conference, just across the board for any SWAT team, it's gonna make the SWAT look good. You know, and we may potentially have an opportunity to try to get Edge Lard bid, but that's gonna be a struggle in itself. But we got some deep baseball programs in the SWAC, very deep.
Yeah, the SWAC conference has always been up for grabs. I mean, we all experienced that when we played. Aside from the period in the early 2000s when Southern kind of dominated there for a bit, like outside of that, it's kind of been up for grabs. Who is going to go to the tournament and who is going to actually win the tournament and go to the regional. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like this season is going to set up for this again. You got Jackson State and Alabama State at the top in the East. You got along with FAMU and Bethune Cookman, and then you have on the west side of the bracket you got Southern, and then there's Grambling. Interesting, Southern historically always get hit. They're going to be
Mm-hmm.
problematic for some teams in the
Mm-hmm.
conference play too. So this is going to be wide open this year, just like it is pretty much every year that's spike baseball been in existence.
Right.
But yeah, so we're gonna switch gears a little bit and talk about some of the midweek games that happened in the last couple of days. Um, Bethune-Cookman, speaking of them, they played FIU, pretty close game. They lost 9-4 in that one.
Now, in that
Um,
game, Slim, not to cut you off, it was a 4-4 game in the sixth inning, and that's when FIU took off.
Okay. That's pretty good. So they
So
held
yeah,
their
that
own for.
yeah, very
Yeah, it
competitive
probably
game.
went. It probably they started probably hit the they had to hit the bullpen. They started went as long as he could.
Yeah, they probably did.
yeah, their depth a little bit kind of got to Bethune-Cookman in the end in terms of their arms. That's kind of why they faltered at the end. But another interesting game was that we kind of talked about yesterday was Alabama State going pretty much leading the whole way in their non-conference game into the late innings, but before falling in that one. I know Ralph, you played close attention to that game. What do you think of that one?
Man, it was 5-1 going into the eighth. And next thing you know, it was 5-3, and they came out. No, yeah, it was a close game. It was five. They would score 4 runs in the last 2 innings, so it was 2-5 going into the bottom of the eighth, the top of the eighth actually, because they were playing in Montgomery. And they scored 2 runs in the eighth and the ninth to win it 6-5. No, just a heartbreaking loss. No, just man, heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Alabama State led the game the entire game. They scored that 5 runs in the first 2 innings, and like it couldn't get another run across.
Couldn't get no run. Well, it's a confidence building game at the beginning of the season though for them. So
If they had any errors, I wonder when those errors happen. Sometimes that can be the factor too. You know,
Right.
most box scores gonna have 1 or 2 errors, but some errors ain't the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I was watching
Some
on the.
errors ain't the same, man.
No, I literally had like 5 tabs up last night. Like I had 5 live stat casts on every Bethune game, the Mercer game, everybody that I could find last night. I literally had it up on their website. Like that literally, that's all I did last night. Just track the midweek games and this afternoon.
Yeah, going through that box score, Alabama State only used 3 pitchers, which is kind of unusual in the midweek game. They threw Melendez, who went 7 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 was earned. He struck out 4 and walked 2. And then they brought in the bullpen in the 8th and 9th inning. That's when they gave up the lead. But yeah, I mean, to have your starter go deep, especially in the midweek game, and for a coaching staff is great because not only do you have a chance to win the game, but you also looking ahead, which you don't really want to do in those types of situations. But you kind of save your arms for the weekend. So Alabama State almost killed 2 birds with 1 stone. They almost won the game, and they also saved their pitching staff for this weekend. So that was a really good performance by them all the way around. They just couldn't hold it in the late innings, though.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Hey,
FAMU took one on the chin to Mercer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was.
Too.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
Yeah, I'm looking at this Compton State and Navy though. Yeah, that kind of surprised me with that one.
Hey man, MEAC. Hey, don't sleep on MEAC baseball, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't sleep
You're
on
exactly
MEAC
right.
baseball.
Yeah, and there may be 4 of them, but you're exactly right. They still MEAC still strong
Right.
on the baseball, and you got to think about it. Shoot, Fam and Bethune just came from over there, so yeah, can't expect nothing less.
But in the MEAC though, man, just look like when they play their out of conference games, they're not playing these SEC schools. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like think about their location. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we always been talking about the treacherous schedule of Bethune Cookman.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I sometimes I think I would like to see more MEAC teams come down here, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and play the area down here. But you know how travel go. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Now we have played North Carolina A&T
Mm-hmm.
in years past. We've gone
Yeah.
there. They've come here. We've played the MEAC schools,
Mm-hmm.
and that North Carolina A&T team we played once in '08, they were legit,
Mm-hmm.
legit.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. My
Yeah.
cousin played 1 year in North Carolina A&T. He was like, "Well, I'm gonna come on back to Austin P." He transferred the next year. Well, we're gonna get back in. We're gonna get back talking about transferring, but that's later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you talk about the weekend and the midweek games that we kind of touched on last night, I brought up a conversation that we really wanted to get into was talking about kind of like our mission of this show and kind of the mission we think everyone associated with Black college sports and baseball to have is promoting the product. The best practices and best ways schools can do that because for us guys who are like really passionate about the sport and really passionate about Black colleges in general, we want to see like kids get exposure, schools get more exposure. This happened a little bit on the football side, someone on the basketball side too, but for baseball, it's kind of like been a dearth of exposure and visibility. And so I know when we're looking for information about these teams and these players, sometimes it's hard to come by, and that's a combination of just a lack of resources from schools, other commitments with so many sports going on. You got SIDs who like stretched thin and they really can't update baseball rosters. So I'm throwing this one out to Ralph. So how do you think Black colleges should go about promoting and elevating their baseball programs in the public?
Social media is free. That's what the kids are into it. So you
That's the
have to
only
reach
thing.
them more on. You have to go to what the level that they're on. Um, get a student on campus, give him some work study, and let that be his work study job, or make it an internship. If that's a student that wants to get into the industry of being a content creator, give them that opportunity. Let them travel with the team, but also at the same time, let someone be there to monitor what they're doing before they hit sin.
Yeah.
You know, um, like that's the easiest way I could see it without it being a lot of cost involved. You know, just every once in a while, just show us a quick session from practice, quick player spotlight on Instagram. You
Mm-hmm.
know, go live. With a coach and a player. Just
Mm-hmm.
because this is power right here.
Yeah.
These kids have this in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to get to them. And the fans on social media. You know, people might not necessarily be in the towns where they're playing, but the alumni follow the social media accounts. So I think that's the easiest way to do it. Have the game updates. Um, Bethune does a good job of that. FAMU does a good job. I know Southern did a good job over the weekend, but they tonight the game they're having is behind the paywall. So
Mm-hmm.
even that's good, because that brings funding in, and that's another thing right there. Broadcasting the games on streaming services.
Yeah.
Just broadcasting through YouTube. It's a lot of different ways, to do it, to try to make it as cost, to keep the cost down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. They need to start using these kids. I know they're doing it aggressively at Jackson State, but start using these kids, these content creators. Allow them, give them internships, even if they're not even a a communication major. You know, it may be something that they just interested in. Start pulling these kids because the is these kids going to this one device. This is a computer in their hand. I wish we had it when we was playing, but it's they always got access to it. You know, oh, you said no. They always got access to it. You always got access to them. You just gotta make the content and make it available for them. You know, this is the now generation. So whatever they want to desire, they can go to it right now in the palm of their hand. So we got to pull them in, and in order to do that, you got to advertise the product. You got to advertise HBCU baseball because it's so electric. We you see the highlights on ESPN. Ain't no reason ain't no HBCU highlights on ESPN. Like it ain't no reason. I've seen. We know we done seen a whole bunch of dun ESPN moments on that diamond while we were playing. And so just and the only way you can even get on that, you gotta record the content. All you gotta do is record the content and tag ESPN. You might mess around and be on TV and not even know it.
Well, most of the highlight clips are phone videos that they send in on top 10.
Yeah, exactly right. So they definitely need to start taking these kids on their wing and just start allowing them to basically just create the content for the baseball programs. They create and these kids, they're innovative. I mean, just like how we was more progressive than the generation before us. These kids, they create some dynamic content which will help bring in attention, bring in recruits, and say, hey, I go to HBCU and ball out. I could be the next Ricky Weeks. I could be the next legend to come out of HBCU outside of football and basketball. Baseball got some legends too.
Right. I agree.
I'm wondering, while you're talking about like schools need to do more promoting their product, but I'm thinking about how much is a desire like actually there for them to do that.
You're right.
I mean, we know that baseball is a non-revenue sport. It does not pay the bills at a lot of schools. Schools allow football and basketball to do that, particularly basketball when you factor in the tournament to pay their bills. And baseball and softball and sports like that kind of play second fiddle. So how can we, or how can I guess schools value the baseball program in the same way or similarly than they do like the revenue generating sports?
Man, I say it's an opportunity to advertise our culture. Because you got to think about it. That's what Dion pictured. That's what all these other HBCUs picture to these kids now. Is that you ain't got to change your culture to go to our program. This is the culture. You go be respected. Do you want to go somewhere where you'll be a token or you be treated as a king? Everybody be all on one level. But I really think the more you advertise, the higher the enrollment goes up. I think North Carolina A&T has the highest HBCU enrollment, but all the HBCUs have been seeing their enrollments go up since George Floyd, basically. So now to go ahead and start using our sports programs to advertise our culture on top of the talent, I think that's the biggest pitch that we can do because I think I was going across Twitter, and I think it was a young man at LSU who's a pitcher. I forgot the young man's name. But he posted something and said simply how I feel like any kid at PWI feels. His captain said they think I'm not supposed to be here. Let me prove it to them. Why not go to a culture where you're supposed to be here? Not only that, them eyes will start turning from that direction to this direction to look at you, not only you, but the program that the school is developing. Why are they being able to get these kids? These PWIs, for the life of me, cannot understand how kids are leaving and transferring, or you got high school players that are actually looking at HBCUs to go for their athletic talent, because kids are starting to understand that they are the value. They're the one elevating these programs. That's why this whole transfer portal, all this stuff done changed it to basically free agency. I mean, it's free
Right.
agency. You can go wherever you want, wherever you think the fans will follow you, and you can get the clout, and you can use that name and that likeness to be able to provide not only for yourself but for your family. I, I feel like, man, at this point, what kid would not want to go to an HBCU? I've been sitting here encouraging my cousin. She finna graduate HBCU. You know, I mean, it's gonna teach you more value of yourself and of your culture before you get ready to step out in a world that really doesn't accept your culture, but just to monetize off of it. So you take that pride in on what you go through them years when you come out of high school. That's what go develop you. But to get back to the point, man, if the school start using these kids to help advertise these programs, not just outside of baseball, but even track and volleyball and tennis and all that stuff, and start using that to advertise the culture, them kids will see where they are accepted before they even sign the letter. Because they feel a part of it. They feel a part of the culture, feel a part of the school. They go come in, they go work their butt off, not only in on the field, but in the classroom. Because we got to think about it. You a scholar before you're an athlete. But yeah, that's what they need to do.
Me personally, I would like to see a different approach.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to for me, I didn't really see any HBCUs, as far as baseball wise coming up. You know, the only way I found out about HBCU baseball was through my coach was my, my high school assistant coach was a black man, and he put me on. I had an uncle that played for TSU. He talked about it, but you got to start. I think we got to start at a younger age. I
Mm-hmm.
think we got to start, you know, talking about just going to HBCU college, period, not
Yeah.
just to play sports, because
Mm-hmm.
it's a. I mean, we went and we experienced a way of life, that we should be living, or how should we live as men in America? Like, you know, and I can go here and play sports too. Like, I'm playing sports at the time when I went to school was I thought was my mecca. I've never seen
Mm-hmm.
anything like it
Mm-hmm.
ever. All black Walmart full of people. Now that was different.
Mm-hmm.
So as as me, I try to tell younger kids, you know, if you're thinking about going to college and you want to go to college, you want to get your full experience, you want to get your bang for your buck, because you're gonna have, let's say, college, you're gonna have student loans.
Mm-hmm.
At least if you're gonna go in debt, or you're gonna have that much money that you got to pay back, at least go somewhere where it's gonna be more bang for your buck. If that
Mm-hmm.
make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I know FUBU was a label, but it was for us by us.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a HBCU is for us by us, which
Mm-hmm.
means it's gonna cater to our positives. It's gonna, you know, versus going to a school where you got to always prove yourself to be normal or fit in,
Mm-hmm.
no
Mm-hmm.
matter how good you was.
Yeah.
Like, that was my experience. No matter how good I was, I always felt like that I had to be perfect, or I had to play great, which that made me who I am. But no matter what, if you was only looked at as a person to help them win in certain instances, not for everybody. It might not be everybody's story, but when I came there, I actually wanted to win with y'all. I actually wanted to contribute. I wanted to be part of that, just because I wanted to make sure I held my own weight. And we all held each other accountable, and it was all love. And some kids need to learn that outside of baseball, outside of the sport they're playing, that it's bigger than the game, and
Mm-hmm.
why you would choose to go that path, and why you would need to go there. Just like you try to push your kid to go to Harvard. I mean, Ivy League, Ivy League is Ivy League. But to us, HBCU is like Ivy League to us. And it should be pushed that way.
Right.
We can offer something nobody else can. So why not it be looked at as a Harvard or a Yale for us? And I think that we as a whole, alumni, students, teachers, ADs, all of us should try to, go back to younger kids and encourage them before they get to see the bright lights of, where I'm from, UT and Alabama and all them schools,
Right. Make that grassroots connection.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It should be a mecca for every kid to want to go to a Jackson State, Alabama State, Alcorn State. That's prestigious to us. Who cares what y'all think on the outside? This is built for us to help us be the best we can be. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, like we've seen. Yeah, like and we've seen in the last couple of years, particularly as it relates to the mainstream media, sports leagues like NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball. They're leading the charge in a lot of ways to expose the nation to HBCUs. You talked about the Andre Dawson Classic, something backed by Major League Baseball. The NBA All-Star Weekend featured a couple of HBCU schools. The NFL backed the HBCU Legacy Bowl. All the work Chris Paul has done, getting HBCUs exposure through various means. And so, like, this period right now that we're in is kind of a jumping point, I think, into getting more kids interested in coming to HBCUs, and not just for sports, but just in general. I mean, with the racial climate there is in the country, I mean, like, that's something a lot of youngsters and their parents are considering right now.
And it's crazy. And not to cut you off, but it's crazy that it always starts with the sports, but it always ends back up just on the generalization of just coming to a HBCU.
See you. That's true. You're right.
Exactly right. I mean, it's like a business decision, man. Like, I sacrifice going to the big schools to better myself too, because I know what's good for me. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's good not to go through all the stuff that you go through when you got to be the only one in the classroom. You're gonna get looked at. People gonna look at you funny. You're gonna always get the extra little drive-by by the campus police. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can't sit on our car in the parking lot and talk. What y'all doing? Sorry, that's been my experience. Sorry.
Yeah. Speaking of which, though, like, we're gonna move on to talking about our players of the week. A lot of kids this weekend had some really good performances at the plate and on the mound. And so Ralph, throw up that graphic and show our listeners the guys that we selected for players of the week.
There you go. John Garcia. That boy right there was swinging it this week.
Yeah, he was, man.
Yeah, man. So Hunter Tab and John Garcia for their performances in the Andre Dawson Classic, and Justin Cooper of Texas Southern with his performance against Arlington Baptist.
They couldn't keep him off the bases.
Nah, they couldn't. They couldn't. Now, it was a lot of guys had some notable weekends, but these three guys kind of stood out the most.
Yeah.
I didn't know what classification is Tab. What class would take is Tab?
He's a sophomore.
Sophomore. He played pretty good in the tournament.
And I want to say Garcia is a sophomore and Cooper is a senior. Yeah.
So which one of these guys you think could propel this first week of performances into something bigger down the road?
Man, Garcia catcher. Garcia catcher. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, and he's a catcher.
Oh, he's a catcher.
He's an offensive catcher.
Man, all you want your catcher to do is block and hit about 250. You good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But if you get that man to swinging, hey, you got you a gen, you got you a catcher that can swing it. You are got a unicorn. Tell you, like Ralph Jesus was a unicorn.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
it
no good.
was.
I wasn't no good. I was all right.
Yeah,
Whatever.
All right. And our pitchers of the week, Jordan Martinez. He's a graduate transfer. No, he's a graduate student. He had 9 strikeouts, 2 walks over 7 innings. And Lewis Lipthrop of Bethune, he's a sophomore. 7 innings, 6 Ks, and 2 walks. Both of those guys picked up the win. And I didn't put the Friday night starter, Mr. Page, for Gremlin. It was the walks. He had 5
Yeah.
walks.
couldn't
So
do it.
I don't want anybody to think that I was hating. It was the 5 walks. I'm gonna just do it. That's why I didn't do it. It was the walks. I ain't gonna
No,
lie.
Ralph is not nitpicking. He's concerned about the walks. Strikeout to
Yeah.
walk ratio. Ralph is concerned about that.
Hey man, I'm just trying to be as objective as possible so people can't say that,
we
you know,
just
we
chose
hating
the
or
Gremlin
we
dude
being Jackson
before.
State lovers, you know. I'm just trying to make sure that we're unbiased. The young man pitched a great game. So
Right.
but this week, you know, you can't take that away from them.
Yeah.
But this week, these 2 young men were chosen.
You
And
know you're gonna get some comments on the bottom talking about, yeah, why you hating, man?
well,
Well, you know, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Come on with it. I want to see all comments below.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out to Melendez for Alabama State. He went 7 innings, gave up 3 hits in a midweek game. I mean, even though it was a losing effort, that's a pretty impressive performance, man.
Yeah, that's true.
He could be honorable mention for us.
Right.
Too bad the bullpen couldn't hold it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now to the topic that I think a lot of us want to talk about. Bat flips. Some of us, maybe one of us, are angry old men on this topic.
Right.
and we kind of teased it at the start of the show, talking about the Alabama State Southern game. It ended on a walk-off home run hit by Gustavo Nava. And if you saw the video, which actually was posted on Major League Baseball's Instagram page, I saw that. He hits the home run. He stares for about 5 seconds. The umpire takes off his mask and tells the kid to run down the line. And Nava runs down the line. He waves to the Alabama State bench. Is getting to first base. Then he salutes the first baseman before he makes his trot around the bases. Now, some say that's cool. Some say that's bad sportsmanship. Guys, what do you say?
He hangs it, he bangs it. Period.
You gotta draw a line somewhere now. The bat flip was all right. The bat flip, okay. Staring, okay. You looking at your work. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But the moment you get to first base, you in my social distance zone. You still carrying this? Son, get around the base. The game's over. Like, you know, you gotta draw a line. I just think about the moment that we was playing at Alabama State. And the kid was doing the same thing, and Coach Johnson just threw a baseball at the kid. Like, go on down the line. Come on, man. Like, come on, man. Like, you want a shot clock with this, man? Get around the bases. Go ahead. You know, I understand the excitement. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You know, especially a walk-off. You know, first series of the game. I mean, first series of the season. So, you know, but at some point you gotta draw the line. I mean, come on. He's just doing the most. At some point, you're doing the most. That's like the kid in what was the kid name in the Super Bowl? He wasn't even playing. He didn't even have no uniform. But you ran off the bench.
Slides on.
Man had slides on.
Why are you at the Super Bowl with slides? Why are you at the Super Bowl with slides on? Period. Anyway.
But you're supposed to be injured. Man, it's just doing too much. You know.
I don't have an issue.
Ralph?
I don't have an issue with watching it. I don't have an issue with it's a walk-off. It's the first game of the year. You won the game. I have no issue with you pimping it.
Yeah.
It's the emotion of the game. I
Mhm.
understand it. It's college baseball. The emotion of college baseball if you've never played, you don't understand. Even if you've been at a game, somebody can try to explain it to you. If you have not been between those lines and felt the emotion of a tightly contested game and you do something to help your team win, yes, have the emotion, celebrate. But the moment you hit first base and you wave, it's the first game of the year.
Mhm.
I'm gonna remember that.
I don't remember that exactly.
Right. Wait,
I'm gonna
Yeah.
right. I
remember that.
understand that. I
Mhm.
understand that.
Now I will say, in a different era of baseball, there might have been a fight,
Yeah.
and the next time we see you, somebody gonna wear one.
Yeah. Exactly. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be
that's
surprised.
part of the game.
Well,
It's
Yeah.
supposed to be part of the
I
game.
Hmm.
I don't see it happening, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I
Them
wouldn't be
them
surprised.
kids
Yeah.
different, man. They don't get down like that no more, Ralph. They don't get
You know,
down like that.
because
They don't get down like that no more.
yo, I'm a catcher.
I know. I know. I know.
I would have been storing that and be
Right.
like, yo, I bet
Mm-hmm.
Them kids ain't throwing at nobody, man.
it'd have been April, and I'm gonna make sure you wear one.
He done forgot. Cuz I had 30 at bats. He done
Hey
forgot about the whole
man,
thing.
hey, I'm
Hey,
I'm calling time out going to the mound, man.
Mhm.
Let's get it done the first pitch, please.
Mhm.
no, and I don't want the kids to think that or anybody to think, he's just a grumpy old man. No, the
No.
emotion in the game, do the bat flip. It doesn't matter. I played with a teammate, Brandon Tellis, flipped his bat. He flipped his bat too far one time on a home run at Mississippi Valley. Before he touched home plate, Valley team was in front of our dugout ready to fight.
You thought they hit the home run.
That's what I'm saying. So
Life
it
for the swag.
Yeah.
it has a place. The celebration and the emotion has a place. Just don't show up the other team. Definitely don't come on that dirt. Do not
Yeah.
step on the dirt at home plate.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, like
Just
if these kids seeing the big leaguers do it, like we were singing church 2 years ago, hits a home run against the White Sox. He throws his bat literally 50 yards in the air, and it's celebrated. You see, Ronald
Was it a
Acuna
walk
Jr. hit
off?
It was not a
now,
walk-off home run. It was in a
It was
blowout
not a
game.
walk off. It
now,
was
now you have to understand. I was a college baseball player almost 20 years ago. 2004 was the last time I played a college baseball game. The style of coaching that I came up under, it was a different mentality of
Mm-hmm.
baseball. You were aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Like people think you can't intimidate somebody on the baseball field. Oh, yes, you
No.
can.
You can. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, you can.
Right.
Yes, you can.
And you don't even necessarily have to throw at them to intimidate them. It's just the way you come out on the field and go about your business.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But if you come out and you play hard, you sliding in hard but clean, dudes don't want to come in when you trying to steal. We getting off topic again, but I don't have an issue with the bat flips. I don't. Because like
But
you said,
y'all,
they're seeing the guys in the league do it now. So they're only
man,
imitating what they see.
Yeah.
I don't have a
even
problem with it. Just
even when we
don't show
played
your opponent
though,
up.
I'm a little different. Like, it's me in the picture, so it's a walk off. Now if we losing or something like that, and I smash one or something like that, I'm gonna go into the dugout. But if it's a game of that magnitude, you know what I mean, on TV, everybody watching, close game, back and forth, two of the best teams, and you in the SWAC, so they doing those old soulful chants over there too. Let's be real.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole game they talking. Everybody talk the whole game in the SWAC. It ain't like this stuff, man. Look, it's different. I had to adjust. It's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Y'all talking the whole entire time, the whole game between everybody. We just
Mm-hmm.
chose not to do that. But if the time comes and you walk off after they've been talking all day and y'all going back and forth, I'm sorry. I'm pulling my jersey off. And Now, I know I might get hit, which is part of the game. But at that moment, y'all been talking all game. It's been close. Y'all talking reckless. Y'all over there chanting. Shut up.
That's true. We don't know the backstory. They may have been talking a lot of
Well,
trash. They, you know,
that's just me.
yeah, they may have been
That's
talking.
just me.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna
I
throw a
won't
wild
put
card
that
out here.
past. Yeah,
I'm gonna throw a wild card out here.
What's the wild card, Smell?
Y'all think the umpire was doing too much, telling the kid to run down the line when the game was
Yeah,
basically over?
the umpire should have got out of the way. Yeah, get out of the way.
yeah. The game was over.
Yeah, the
Nah,
game
I
was
think.
over. Get out of the way. Get out of the way.
I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
get out of
probably
the way.
trying to prevent a fight. That's what he probably was trying to do. But at this point,
He
man, you
trying
got
to
your
prevent
check.
doing some paperwork. He didn't want to get out there clean. Really, on the walk-off, man, I umpired high school for years, man. They on a walk-off, man, you I mean, I got my chest plate off before he touched home plate. You know what I mean? And what, man? You know, he touched home plate, we gone. We got our checks, we out. We out. What am I waiting around for?
That's how you call him out. Ow! That's how you do it.
You skip with it. You skip with it. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So that's another thing in the sweat you just gonna see, man. That's just gonna make us unique, man. It's gonna make it unique.
Man, y'all wait. One kid go hit a home run and he go gritty down the line. He gritted down the line. I don't have to give him that. You know, he hit that gritty.
Oh,
Hey, now the one guy that did the telescope on that thing the other day, boy.
that was absolutely amazing.
It really was.
Absolutely amazing.
That was
I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
I wish I'd done that.
Yeah, he gets an A for creativity. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, that probably was the most creative home run celebration I ever seen. I'm talking about he pulled the telescope out on the light.
Man,
he probably told his teammates he was gonna do that too, because you
that
have
was
to think.
That was playing like T.O. was
that
playing.
man.
Yeah,
that was cold, man. That was cold. That was absolutely cold. Now there might be a trend, but that's the first time I seen something like that, and it was I about ran through the house, man. I was like, oh.
Yeah, but in the SWAC though, you can get away with stuff like that. The chanting and the gregarious celebrations and the show of emotion that's endemic to the SWAC, and maybe not in like the SEC or the ACC, where it's kind of more traditional in terms of this stuff. But yeah, like I mean, it's fun to like talk about. It's fun to like see kids have fun, and we don't want to be like the fun police or nothing. A lot of y'all have like different perspectives on it. Like I, for one, think all of it's cool. I think you hit a home run, you walk it off, you can put your pants off. All I care.
Man, right? Let it all out, man. Come on, man. On a walk off, that type of game on TV, mama, look at me. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, dog. I'm telling you. You mean tell me? I'm telling like we talked about the other night, Ralph in Alabama A&M. He come around third base with 10 in his eye. Yes.
Man,
raw emotion, sir.
And you really gonna hold to that?
Yes. I don't care what anybody say. I'm gonna take it forever. Ralph, you had a tear round in third base, and it was absolutely great. It was one of my special moments because it was a special moment because we got in their butt. We came back, and you helped us, and you hit the home run. So it will always be special to me, Ralph. That's a memory from you. Jesus.
Yeah, the backstory to that is like we're playing Alabama A&M at their place, and their stadium didn't have any lights, so it was dusk, and so they were up by like 5 runs. They were by like 5 runs in the last inning, so like they were trying to hurry up and trying to get the game over, and so we put on a rally, and so my man Jeezy up here, we down by 2 bases loaded, hit a grand slam, take the lead. Everybody in our dugout went crazy.
Man, he threw the helmet off round the second base.
He did. He threw it off.
Yo, you pulled your jersey out too, didn't you? Yes, you did.
We had to go back on the field. We had to go back on the field and play defense, man.
I thought he did a cartwheel too, but
no, we knew it was over after that. It was over.
Yeah, we just had to go back and field. It was over though.
It was over after that.
Cause we took this. I mean, it was a dagger through the heart, man. We took their whole emotion. On top of that when Coach let us unleash, we were chanting. Well, we was on them. That's when Dave Chappelle show came out, man. We messed around, watched that all the way from Jackson to Huntsville. And
Every episode.
Every episode. We was going through every skit, every end, and we was just switching it up. Man, we was giving it to them, man. In their home.
This how old we are. Like, we watched the show on videotape.
Yep, we sure did.
On the bus.
On the bus.
We ain't had no videos on it. Everybody had the little flip joints. No, we had Snake on the phone, the Nokia.
Everybody brought their dopest movie that they thought on VHS. Was like, yo, coach, can we watch this?
Yep, we sure did.
Oh man.
Yeah, that
VHS. We were DVD were out at the time, and they had the bootleg DVD too, but our bus hadn't been updated yet to run the DVD.
No.
Yeah, man, we watched the Chappelle show on tape, boy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but are we gonna move on and talk about something that's been impacting not just baseball, but every single college sport is the transfer portal. And do you guys think the transfer portal for baseball, especially black college baseball, has made the sport better, worse, or it's too early to tell the impact of it?
Well, I think it's too early to tell the impact of it right now.
It's too early, man.
Yeah, it's too early to tell the impact right now.
Yeah.
You don't really see no real, like, or maybe they just don't advertise it like football of like, or I mean they really don't care that much about that a kid left an SEC school to come to a HBCU or anything like that, you know?
Well, Texas Southern had a kid that transferred from Texas to them last year, and he ended up getting drafted from there. I can't remember his name, but it's been guys that's transferred into the SWAC from different places, but it doesn't get the baseball transfers don't get the big name like the football transfers. Nothing's gonna get that big spot like football. But I think it's too early to tell because most of the programs they recruit junior college. They have a formula that works for their program.
Yeah.
So they have. I know a lot of schools get a combination of JUCO guys and freshmen. So of course you want to get those JUCO guys because they're already battle tested, and get the freshmen in to develop them.
JUCO guy.
And bring them up to fit your program. Say teach them to do what you want them to do in your program, your philosophy, your style of play. But I think right now the transfer portal with the state that is in right now is too early to really tell the impact.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking. You're talking about Cam Fields from Texas Southern, the one that got drafted by the Rays.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's too early. Like I said, it's like free agency. Basically, a kid gets the opportunity to decide it, just put his name in the hat to say, "Hey, I want to transfer," and see what kind of what kind of bait, what kind of catches he get as far as opportunities to go to another program. I don't think we see it as big as we're noticing right now with football in comparison to baseball. I don't think it's as big in basketball. It may be bigger in women's basketball. As far as the transfer. But go ahead, Rob.
Now, there was a day in college baseball where the transfer portal was the wild, wild west. A guy could go one school and transfer in January if he was academically eligible and they didn't limit his release. He could go play at the next school. Like, you could literally transfer without having to sit out. If a school did not limit your transfer in baseball before they changed their transfer rule, and I tell you, Michael Owens is the reason they changed the rule. When he transferred from Georgia Tech to Tulane, the next year was a transfer rule where you had to sit out for an entire calendar year. Before that, you could be a JUCO guy, transfer in. Pernell Holloman transferred in January to Jackson State. Kevin Whiteside transferred in from junior college in January and played with us. Willie Wagner, my freshman year, transferred in January and played. It was guys that came in the fall with us. In January, they were gone. It's just how it was in baseball. But once Michael Owens, who was probably the best two-way player in college baseball, when he transferred, they was like, nah, we're going to change this. but you never know. You make the programs shine into a kid, and you never know. Some kid might step out there and transfer. It
Yeah,
might be a big time kid. You never know.
yeah, you're right. We may
You never
start
know.
seeing, yeah, we may start seeing what's happening in football, happening in baseball. Because I mean, you think about it. At some point, you get tired of sitting on the bench when you know that you're a prospect coming out of high school. So and now HBCUs we give you the opportunity to get on the diamond. You ain't gotta wait. It's just the best man win. You got that talent. You can ball out. That's all. That's all it is. We look for ballers.
Right.
You know. You get on that list.
What I've been seeing, man, is like when I see these teams, these dudes got about one or two on the team, and if they on the team,
Mm-hmm.
they playing.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
are. They
now
play, they learning now.
the only way they might leave, they get disgruntled or something. But
Mm-hmm.
if they gonna have them on the team, them
Mm-hmm.
fools playing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if they ain't gonna have no bench players no more. Like I haven't
Mm-hmm.
seen it like too much of it. Up
Mm-hmm.
here with Vandy. If
Mm-hmm.
they on the team, they balling, they
Mm-hmm. They
playing.
balling. Mm-hmm. You right.
MTSU,
Yeah.
they're playing. And I'm just going by what I see in my region up here. Like
Mm-hmm.
if they ain't balling, they not on the team.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
might be in JUCO or something, but if they on the team, they starting.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time outfield. You
Yeah.
know,
Most time I feel
Yeah.
you're right.
and if they in the middle infield, they might be from another country. You don't see too many
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
American infielders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
That's a
kind of
whole nother
wonder.
subject too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I kind of wonder, like because the transfer portal hasn't had the impact it's had maybe other sports is because of the limited scholarships. Baseball only gets
Mm-hmm.
11.7 scholarships compared to football
Yeah.
that gets 85, and basketball that
Yeah.
gets their number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why you don't see a lot of kids making that leap.
that's a big
Mm-hmm.
factor. Yeah,
It
the
is.
economics of being it is a business decision in baseball. Because it's 11.75 scholarships to split
Mm-hmm.
amongst a roster, and if you don't get academic money,
Exactly.
you got to figure out how to pay that balance. So
Mm-hmm.
you're right. For some kids, it could be a business decision. So they just sit there and say, "Hey, I'm gonna get the degree," and just ride it out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think if the scholarship situation in baseball was different, the transfer portal probably would be jumping just like it
Yeah.
is in football and
That is
basketball.
true.
But
Yeah.
especially football, I
Mm-hmm.
think the scholarship limit does have a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But shoot, if it's gonna be a business decision, HBCU degrees is on the rise right now as far as value for companies.
Yeah. Cause
They
they
need
know
to use that too.
we producing them. You producing not only high level, high character individuals, but at the same time, we know what we're talking about. we know our stuff, and that's all across the map. That's why you seeing a shift in the culture where executives now. We done reached on levels where we can make the power moves. So uh, hopefully it started trickling back down, and like you said, Ralph, they expand the number of scholarships for baseball because you brought up a good point. If they increase the scholarships, these coaches can actually start going at these players, and just saying, hey, we got a scholarship on deck for you, you
Oh,
know.
and here's the other part I didn't mention.
Mm-hmm.
Every school might not be able to fund the full 11.75.
You're exactly right. That is
Yep.
true.
So you even further behind the eight ball now.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So
That's true.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That'll be a whole. We can make that a whole show.
Yeah, that's true. That
Yeah,
is
it's
true.
definitely something that like a lot of colleges are like trying to deal with and grapple with now, because like why said man, it's just like free agency now. Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't got to sit out that 1 year anymore. You can transfer and play, and so a lot of kids are making business decisions to leave, and so hopefully like it benefits like bike colleges because like they've always taken the route of going to the JUCO transfers, but now like if you can get Division 1 kids to come, that'll be a game changer for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It would.
Just
Yeah, so
go
we're gonna.
find. There's gonna be a lot of disgruntled players in America every year. Go find them. Tell them, come on
Mm-hmm.
back home.
Going
Come
back
on
home,
home.
yeah.
Come on
Mm-hmm.
home.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna transition to talk about the weekend games. There are a lot of good weekend games coming up. Um, Friday through Saturday. Still in the non-conference play for a lot of schools. Um, the maybe the schedule isn't as loaded with like big time Division 1 matchups versus by colleges, but there are some interesting games. You got Sterling playing LSU Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Southern and LSU.
Yep.
Yes, that's going to be a marquee matchup. Then you have Texas Southern playing Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Houston's a pretty good ball club. Texas Southern can hit, so that could be competitive in that series.
Mm-hmm.
But the game I'm kind of interested in is FAMU versus Grambling in Atlanta.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. We might have to be on site for that one. Pull up.
Oh man, y'all gonna have some action shots. We gonna have
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
selfies at the park.
Yeah, we'll have to get some of those, man.
Oh
But yeah, we're gonna have to
man,
pull up to that one, man. That I agree with you, Slim. That right there is gonna be interesting matchup. Under the lights, seeing them two go at it because they coming out with the momentum from this past week's tournament. So yeah, and just see the pitching and the hitting go up against each other, it'll be fairly interesting.
Aren't
can
they
we
playing
can we
at
can,
Cool Ray
can,
Field?
Yep, cool, Ray.
can we get their reporting live here
Oh yeah. I'm on
on
tune.
site?
Yeah,
Can we get
yeah,
that? Boys
yeah.
on the hill
Yeah, I'm
on
gonna
site.
try
Can
to
we get
slip up
that?
and get an in
Yeah,
with some fans or something like that, or some coaches.
yeah.
Yeah, try to slide up in there, man.
Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah.
So going into the weekend, which schools have the most to prove? You think in these matchups?
Um,
Well, it's early, so I think
yeah.
everybody's still trying to find the right lineup, the
Mm-hmm.
right rotation of guys on the mound, right
Mm-hmm.
guys for certain situations. It's still a filling out process for everybody. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's still early in the season. It's the first,
Yeah,
first weekend of, weekend series. So it's still a filling out process,
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think nobody necessarily has anything to prove. I think it's just about trying to play consistent baseball, inning to inning, game to game.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it here. Alabama State gonna beat UT Martin.
I see that. I can see that. I
They got
definitely
the
see
pitching to
that.
do it for sure.
They
Yeah.
gonna beat UT
Right.
Martin.
Mm-hmm.
and this weekend is Alcorn's opener at McNeese State.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's Alcorn's opener this weekend.
Bethune Cookman got a good one.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
we gotta just have a tracker on they schedule all year.
Nah,
Man,
man, they had
hey, it's a beautiful schedule though. As a
It is.
player, you
no,
It
but
want
is.
to play it. You
honestly
Yeah.
though,
want to
bro,
play it.
they
Mm.
have just about been in every game this year. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
serious.
Man,
Like I'm
that
Mm-hmm.
is
serious.
a dream schedule to play as a player. I would want
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I would love to have that schedule as a player.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
probably
like
one of the greatest schedules you can ever have in a SWAC, bro. I'm telling you, I ain't never seen nothing like it before.
Yeah, you're right. They
And
take
it's
advantage of their
balanced too.
region. It is.
Yeah, it's
It is
very
very
balanced
balanced.
too.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
they rarely leave Florida. When they leave Florida, they go to LSU.
Yeah.
but think about it. It's the same demographic. Like that's what people don't understand. They talk about the SEC and the quality of football in the South. The quality of baseball is just as high.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah.
Whether
Exactly.
you Alabama State don't have to go far to play. They went to
Mm-mm.
Tuscaloosa and played
Mm-hmm.
tonight.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to go far. Sanford
Mm-hmm.
came right to them last night. Those are two
Mm-hmm.
teams that are right there by them. Troy
Mm-hmm.
right down the road to go play a game.
Right.
Exactly.
You got UAB right there in Birmingham. They ain't got to
Mm-hmm.
go far to get good midweek competition.
Shoot. They got
Same.
Auburn.
That's what
Shoot.
I'm saying.
Yes,
Yeah.
over. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's no team. Southern, they're playing bad. LSU, they're right across the street. They're right across town. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? They could play UNO, Nickel State,
Tulane.
Louisiana Lafayette,
Yeah.
Tulane, all those schools right there.
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana State. I'm gonna say Louisiana Tech.
Mm-hmm.
All the we just good competition, and you don't have
Yeah.
to go far to find it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that a
So.
case of just coaches like understanding, like, hey, we need to play these games in state instead of going to the West Coast or maybe to the North, which is very rare this time of year, to play some good competition?
Well, I think budgets and travel, like you're gonna be on the bus. Who want to go on the bus
Mm-hmm.
for a 15-hour bus trip? Ride after you play the
Mm-hmm.
3-game series. That's
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think
It
about
is.
what it felt like coming back from Montgomery and Huntsville on that bus after you played that 4-game series, them 2 doubleheaders
Mm-hmm.
back to back on Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
After you probably got there Friday night at about 7, 8 o'clock, probably later than that.
Shoot, I slept on the floor.
Depending
Oh,
on
I
who your
remember that
roommate
time.
was,
Hey
you're
man,
right.
Yep.
hey man.
Yep.
No, I chose it. Everybody in mine sleeping. I chose to sleep on the floor, man. That's just how I was used to that, man. So,
Mm-hmm.
in no hotel room, I ain't finna be sleeping in no room. I ain't being no. We only got double bed, man. And we got
Mm-hmm.
4 people in the room, man. I'm on the floor. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
Work
not
that
even
out.
gonna. I ain't even gonna debate that. I'm not even gonna make it even no harsh decision. We gotta flip a coin. Nah, that's all right. I'm good. I'm on the floor. And I still play it every weekend. But every time you had a hotel room, you can ask T White. Hey, I was on the
Mm-hmm.
floor, man. Man, I know,
Mm.
but that's just how I got in.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, man. And another good weekend of games. Not a lot of them is going to be hyped up this last week. Not a
Mm-hmm.
lot of national TV exposure, but still good baseball nonetheless.
Yeah.
Um, we should see some surprising results, some interesting results come out of this. Some teams start to find their groove, establish themselves a little bit
I
as they
want some
move on.
upsets.
Yeah, some upsets. Yeah, Thomas
Yeah, I
already
do.
called one of them
Mm-hmm.
earlier. You can put that on FanDuel. How much you betting?
Man, I got 3 women in my house. You crazy.
Mm-mm.
They got it all. They got everything on auto
Mm-mm.
pay. They
On
got it
auto pay.
all.
They
All,
got no auto pay.
all, hey, all I see is the Amazon boxes showing up on the porch. Hey, I already know.
I already know what time it is. Yeah.
Hey, I love every
Yep.
minute of it.
Mm-mm.
Yep. So we're gonna leave it right there, gentlemen. Good show
Hey
tonight.
man, it's been absolutely wonderful.
Definitely, brothers. Mm.
Yeah, good show tonight. Hit on a lot of topics. Got in depth on some of them. Got to let loose on the backflip conversation. That was very passionate, especially with Thomas Black. You know, he's all for anarchy.
No,
Never played by the rules.
no. Look at the shirt. Look at the shirt. I am not about that. No, I'm all about peace and love. Everything. Oh, let me. And I got the. Before we go, we
Oh
got the
yeah,
pup.
get shot
We got
up.
a B5 pub stick. Put the
Yeah,
sticker. Put
yeah.
the
Gotta
pepper
give
stick on every episode. You hear me?
Deuce. Gotta
Hear
give
me?
shout out to my boy Deuce. We have to get him a paid spot on the show. Yeah, we have to plug him in.
If y'all listening, we need some advertisers and we need some sponsors.
Yeah, definitely.
Go deep in your
Yeah,
pockets. You need me.
Yeah, like the video and subscribe to the Boys on the Hill podcast.
Yeah, man.
yeah. On Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. That's where you can find us. We'll be doing the show.
Spotify,
Yes, Spotify, uh, Odyssey. I think it is right, Ralph.
Anchor,
Anchor. Yeah.
Anchor.fm.
Hey man,
Okay,
I'm
Anchor.
trying to do this for
Anchor.fm.
the
Yep.
next 20 years, man.
We
You
got
know
all
what
the
I'm talking
platforms
about?
covered for you.
Google
Yeah.
Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we out there.
Yeah.
Come
You know,
join us on the hill next week. You know what I'm saying?
we're gonna be
Yeah.
back on the hill, baby. Never know, we might have a barbecue grill that week.
Oh man.
Weather getting right.
Oh.
Weather getting right.
Yeah.
We
We have
about
to
to
put
get
some.
tight. Chumperville. Okay.
Once
Hey.
again, we talking about the demographics. Up here we got 30 degrees rainstorm. right now.
Mm-mm.
I just left a snow blizzard in Denver.
Oh,
I ain't
yeah.
happy right now.
Yeah, you can have
Yeah.
that.
Hey,
Right.
I got the JSU wool jacket comes out every time it's cold. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, bro.
That's
Got
the only
to.
jacket to stop every wind. Well, that's the probably the most warmest jacket I ever had in my life.
Yeah, I totally agree. Still intact too.
Hey
That's
man,
the
I
best
still
thing
get
I
hey
got.
got it dry clean last week.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Definitely make sure y'all subscribe, man, and follow us, and tag them plays that the play of the week, man, because
Yeah, man.
we got
Leave the
something coming for
comments.
'em.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Get
want
the
us to
bit.
talk about certain subjects, don't hesitate to email, comment on the bottom. You know, if you want us to talk about different baseball subjects or hear our opinion on certain things, don't hesitate to let us know. This is an open forum. This is for y'all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you like the game of baseball, come holler at us. It don't matter.
And you heard Thomas Black do all that. We'll see y'all next week with another fresh set of topics, more in-depth conversation about baseball. Thomas sleeping on the floor in the hotel rooms, bus trips, all that.
Hey, hey, it made me who I am today. That's why, that's why my bed extra soft.
I understand.
Right. Y'all boys be easy, man.
Hey
Easy,
Till
man,
bro.
next time.
love
All
y'all,
right.
man.
For
All
sure.
right.
See you.